you, Bill? There he is. He's an insurance salesman. Now, that's not funny till you stop to realize that he used to race with two cars strapped together by their rear bumpers and go in different directions. And now you know why your insurance rates are like they are. And there's Chuck Lynch, who rustled greased pigs and chased defenseless chickens. There's Jim McKay, who must have moved heaven and earth to win 4 features in one weekend, and that's appropriate because he's an earth-moving contractor. John Ciccone, who Joe gave a trophy to finally because he couldn't get a checkered flag. Ron Milton, who was chicken to show up here and admit that he tap danced on the score sheets one night, even though there wasn't a Gene Kelly fan in sight. Bob Winnie Jr., who lost his helmet while racing, and that explains why he became a promoter. Do we have some promoters here? And then there's Rosie Roseman, who, when asked to nominate a peer to ride in tonight's parade, replied, "Someone sober." So he obviously knows you guys. Well, we finally settled on a couple of other stories which we couldn't explain in just a sentence or two. In fact, we've come complete with illustration. But before we begin, we want to explain that these stories were done with affection and respect. We admire all of you, and we wouldn't dream of poking fun at anyone. But just in... Who laughed? Who's laughing? I don't think they believe us, Lavana. Anyway, just in case someone misunderstands, we want you to know that you ain't looking at a couple of unprepared fools. Okay, we can start now. We have royalty in our midst. Probably to make us all feel comfortable, he left the red carpet and horse-drawn carriage at home, but nonetheless, we have a real king present today. 30 years ago, Ed Evans ascended to the coveted title of King of the Speedway, voted to... In spite of activities which have tarnished his crown, he has never been dethroned. We weren't certain how to address him, so we checked with the etiquette books. Now, there has to be an Ed the Second in order to have an Ed the First, and there never was an Ed the Second. So, King Ed the Only, please come forward and greet your public. I can see why they didn't dethrone you if you didn't move faster than that.
Take your hat off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my. Now, the last time I had a bottle of Falstaff about this high and all kinds of chicken, the pretty girls, where they at?
You're the pretty girl?
Oh, there we go.
About 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, Ed, your lady-in-waiting also has your throne ready.
I'll get somebody one of those here. Oh, this is nice. This is where the Falstaff goes.
Hear ye, hear ye. Let it all be known that henceforth all problems, arguments, and controversies which arise in the kingdom of dirt will be resolved by His Royal Majesty King Ed the Only. You stay right there. You have to. Yeah, you have all the controversies you have to settle.
Oh, well, I better behave myself.
All the time we were trying to find addresses on you drivers, Joe Shaheen kept asking if Red Hamilton was coming home. Red Hamilton? We looked at each other quizzically. Well, he was good, but so were a lot of other drivers. So why is Joe so intent on getting Red back here? Well, it took a while for us to find out. Red Hamilton, come on over here so we can explain why you got a special invitation. Red, we found out that one night Joe wanted you to drive his Ford Midget. You not only went out and beat the pants off all the offies, you took home all the money. Because you are the only man we have ever known that got away with Joe Shaheen's money, We think that you should have some of his racetrack.
Terrific. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Is it beautiful? You want to say a few words to your public?
Well, I'm not very good at making speeches, but I'm very glad to see everyone here, and I think everyone that put this together and everything, it wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for them. And all you fans out there that's followed all of us, I appreciate it, and I always will. I'll always take it with me. And I took Joe's money. He was very mad at me, but I got it, and I said I'm going to keep it. And if it wasn't for all you fans and all you good people, we wouldn't be here today. And I appreciate that very much, and I got acquainted with people throughout the world and United States here and everything, and very good people that I met, very good, tough race car drivers that I met. And I'm tickled for Joe Shahan, but for the simple reason, if it hadn't been for Joe and teaching me and showing me what to do and telling me, I wouldn't be here today.
Joe tells us all what to do.
And that's the reason that I knew how to keep that money, because I know how he did it.
A lot of drivers, when they were growing up, climbed over the fence to get into the track. A few have even admitted to climbing over the fence to get out, especially when a fellow competitor was coming at them with a tire iron. But one man used a sprint car to bounce over the fence. Isn't that right, Herschel Jenkins? Come on up. Now, we don't mean to joke around about the scariest accident in Springfield Speedway's history, especially since Herschel had to spend a lot of time recuperating. But we're happy to say that evidence speaks for itself. Herschel stands before you, handsome as ever. But we can't say the same for the beer garden next to the clubhouse. If you walk around there, you'll see the evidence of Herschel's work. There was the fence, the side of the clubhouse, the concrete, the dirty breeches of all of the people that had been standing around there. Herschel, while you were in the hospital, you asked Joe for the bill for the damages. Since you were laid up, Joe couldn't bring himself to give it to you. But now that you're well, the bill is ready.
Well, I bet he wants his money too, don't he?
Payment is due.
Hey, this is a good crowd here. I'm glad to see all you old guys. Really glad to see you. I'm having a good time. Hope everybody is. Thank you.
There have been a lot of drivers who raced Springfield before they went on to race the Indianapolis 500. A few are even homegrown regulars, but Lee Drolander, tell us, did running a 41 coupe against the likes of Chuck Burkhart and Nelson Rice help you pass your driver's test at Indy? Tell them if it helped, and then we're going to tell you what we're going to do to you.
Well, I don't think it hurt any. I think it all helped. But you had some close competition with them guys. And of course, when Joe gave me a chance to drive his championship car, that's what really got me to the Speedway. I enjoyed it all. I'll never forget it.
Okay, you stay right there. Okay, Lee, we all know that you passed your test at Indy with flying colors. But there is no proof that you ever passed your rookie test at Springfield Speedway. Are you ready to take the test? You don't have a choice, you're not going to get away. Question number 1. This is a tough question, so think close. 2 race cars have tangled right in front of you. Do you A, slam on your brakes and turn the wheel hard even if it means you'll slam into the retaining wall, or B, stand on the gas and hope your momentum will spin them out of the way?
Well, the way we used to do it, if there was room and you had to, touch them a little bit, well, I mean, you was a little bit out of control. quick.
So you're saying B.
Yes.
Wrong. Next question. The slow cars start in the front of the feature race. Do you A, go as fast as you can to get an idea of how your car's performing, even though you'll have to start in the back, or B, sandbag and get that secure starting spot?
I never sandbagged in my life.
Wrong on both counts. Okay, here's your final question, and your career is riding on this. The grandstand is overflowing with people, but Joe is standing with his hands in the air saying, "That's all the purse there is, there ain't no more." Do you A, go on strike for more money, or B, go on strike for more money? You don't have to answer that because we know you guys struck all the time. Well, we had to give you the correct answer because we know that you've already earned your rookie stripes at Springfield, and it would be terribly embarrassing if you couldn't pass the test after passing the Indy test. So, Lee Drolander, we're proud to present you with the Springfield Speedway driver's certificate. Now, just don't ask us to get you a ride.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate this. It's a little late. I don't think I can handle it anymore. Thanks a lot anyway.
Thank you, Lee. Hey, this King business is easy. He hasn't had any controversies yet. Sometimes it's hard to get respect from some people. Jungle Jim Davison has been coming to Springfield for 40 years and racing here for 28 years. And he told us that in all those years, nothing has changed here. Well, we've got news for you, Jungle Jim. You just come on up here. You're walking like you drive slow. Come on.
Oh boy, here it comes.
Jungle, you are dead wrong. You make it sound like time has stood still at this racetrack, and nothing could be farther from the truth. We have made improvements at this racetrack, and we want you to... Don't look at it. You don't know what you... We want you to take home a photograph to remind you that in 25 years, Springfield Speedway did move forward with the times. It took a quarter of a century, but we finally got our infield porta-john. And Jim, we want you to hang this in your living room.
Thank you. I should have known better than to ever answer one of Joyce's questions. By the way, this is located right near my lunch stand, so make one trip and accomplish two things. Thank you very much.
Once upon a time, a racing journalist started writing about who finished last in the races because he was bored telling about Lloyd Caldwell's victories. Of course, this same reporter started a new feature called In the Doghouse, and Lloyd was the first member because while racing one night, he committed the cardinal sin of racing. He ran out of gas. But Lloyd had an even stranger loss, a disqualification one night. Lloyd Caldwell come up here before King Ed, the only, and everyone to admit the truth.
Here. There he is.
Lloyd, is it true that right here, right at this very racetrack, you were disqualified from a feature win one night because you opened the door on your race car instead of crawling through the window?
No.
Yes, Lloyd, I got it in the paper.
Okay.
Well, Lloyd, we can hardly believe that you would make such a mistake. We have a car door here, and we would like for you to show the people what you should have done right.
Through that door?
You're the one that made the boo-boo, Lloyd. Real race. Everyone knows real race cars have no doors.
Heck, they know.
Yay! No more bad luck for you, Lloyd. There it is. It's not just the drivers who create havoc at this racetrack. Actually, everyone contributes from time to time. But there was an official who was noted for getting himself right in the middle of every controversy that happened during his era. All right. Will all of those here who ever had an argument with Swede please signify by saying A? Will all those who ever lost an argument with Swede please say aye? And will all those who ever saw Swede leave this racetrack without some of his clothing, please say aye? Come here, Swede. Your Majesty. It was okay when you left without your purple shirt. It was okay when you left without your brown shoes. It was okay when you left without your white slacks. But did you really have to leave without these? Is it true, and remember now, Swede, that you're standing before King Ed, who can have you banished to the crocodile dungeon if you lie? Is it true that you finished a night of flagging wearing only polka dot shorts?
These are not the pair, because the pair I finished in had the right leg missing. And I've caught hell to this day on how I could come to the racetrack and work and go home with the right leg and my shorts on and never leave the racetrack. Case is pending in divorce court now.
Well, some people don't change. Nowadays, when we talk about wings, we mean the 5x6 aluminum roofs that sit atop sprint cars. But back in 1958, they also ran wings. Real ones, with feathers.
There wasn't no argument.
Francis Kelly, Fibber McGee, Bob Sager, and Tiger Black, come here. You didn't think we'd forget.
Want to race, huh?
Okay, gentlemen, is it true that you raced ostriches?
Yes, we did.
Is it also true that you raced without helmets or safety belts?
Yeah.
And you whipped these poor defenseless birds with brooms?
Yeah.
Bob wishes he'd had 2 brooms.
I had a female ostrich. She went where she wanted to.
All right. And isn't it true that by the time you were finished with these birds, they were reduced to nothing but a pile of feathers?
Well, not exactly.
All right.
One leg off.
Well, because of your unique place in Springfield's racing history, we are presenting you with these certificates, which will prove for all time that you competed in the ostrich class. Where'd she go with it? Fibber McGee?
How about that?
How about that?
That looks just like you, Sid.
But as to your claim that you did not injure the birds, I'm afraid we have evidence to the contrary. This is all that's left of those great birds. Please take these home with you and ponder.
That's what I was.
Take these home and ponder what you did to one of God's great creatures. Ed, do you think we should send him to the dungeon? Let him go.
I'm looking for another ostrich.
Kelly's ostrich beat the hell out of me with his right wing.
You can quit hiding, Chuck. You can quit hiding. There are 5 things you should know about the one-armed bandit. First, he has 2 arms. Second, he has more cousins than the Waltons did. Third, he has been known to wear shoes with heels tall enough to make a Las Vegas showgirl envious. Fourth, he has been known to wear enough sequins to make a Las Vegas showgirl envious. In fact, we think one of his cousins was a Las Vegas showgirl. And finally, he really hates to tow. Not long ago, he told me on the telephone that one of the bad things about getting older is how tired he gets towing. Every time I turn around, he said, they've got a race at the far ends of the earth. I swear I've been to Kansas and back so many times I could close my eyes and get there. Well, Chuck Amati, we got some good news for you. Come on over. Ready? Just a second.
What do we do now?
You'll see. Got 'em ready? Chuck, a young lady left these behind for you. You will note that they have the required heels and sequins. Anyway, just before this girl named Dorothy and her dog Toto left, she said that if you put these on and click your heels 3 times, when you open your eyes, you'll be in Kansas. But we don't know how you'll get back to Illinois because the yellow brick road doesn't go to Freeman Spur. Okay, we just did this to get you guys, jog your memories and get you started telling stories. We've got about 20 minutes set aside here. Anybody that wants to can get up and tell a story about racing at this place. And since this guy tells the funniest stories in the world, we're going to make him start. The winner gets a truly appropriate prize. And you, the audience, get to choose the winner. Put you on the spot, didn't I? Here's me.
Well, here we go. The only thing I can remember, I'm about as nervous as I've ever been getting in a race car, but I'm going to do my best. The only thing I remember is one time I got interviewed at Memphis, Tennessee, and I ran 10th that night, and the night before I'd won the feature race. And the guy come down and he asked me, he said, well, what I can't figure out is how come you run 10th tonight? I said, well, what you need to do is ask the man that run 9th, because every lap I was trying to pass him. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all know the cost of groceries and everything, and then the other day I was at Neiman's at Macomb, and I was standing behind this good-looking blonde. She walked up to the man, she said, mister, how much are these delicious-looking strawberries? He said, $3.95 a pint. He says, you know what you can do with them strawberries, don't you? He says, I'm sorry, lady, I can't do that. That woman just ahead of you bought a $2 cucumber.
Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Childress, and I'd like to relate a short story that Richard Blacker, that built the V4 and run it pretty damn successful. I don't believe he's here today. He said he was at Macon, and this is when everybody started from a standing start. And he said a dog had come out ahead of the cars, and the flagman didn't see him, of course. Of course, the flagmen don't see a damn thing anyway. But he drops the flag, and he said he took off, and said the dog run ahead of the cars and jumped the fence. We always wanted to see the look on that dog fence when we went over that son of a bitch fence at Macon, you know. It had to be straight down.
Hey Chuck, my name's Butch, not Chuck Amati. You hear that? They introduced Butch Wilkerson, not Chuck Amati. I'll definitely tell them the truth. I'm from over in southern Indiana, and I wasn't fortunate enough to run with these fellows over here too often. But I never will forget, I've told some of these fellows this story earlier today. I had never heard of Swede before, and everybody kept talking about this world's famous flagman at Springfield, Illinois. Well, in 1967, 20 years ago this summer, I made my first adventures right here at this little bowl right here, and I kind of liked the little place, and I hadn't been racing but a couple of years. And we went out and hot lapped, and my car owner said, well, you're doing great, you're really looking swell, things is happening just the way they want to go. Well, I ended up qualifying 10th. That put me on the front row, pole position of the fastest heat. Well, I come off the number 4 corner, and here come this goofy guy running right square to the nose of my race car, waving a green flag. I just closed my eyes and stood on the gas. He's still here.
I'll tell you a story. Many years ago, back when Jay Akers was one of the hot dogs all around the place, we raced together everywhere. Jay was my hero, still is. His helper, Bob Marshall, used to come over and get in my face every time me and Jay even got close together. I mean, we didn't have to touch, just like if we almost touched, he'd come tell me we better not almost touch. Don't get me wrong, Bob's a good guy, he's a friend of mine now. Anyway, he griped at me so much. Every race I'd pull in the pits, get out of my car, and here'd come Bob. Ah, you bumped Jay, and you almost spun us out, and you did this and that. So one night I fooled him after the race was over. Me and Jay had banged fenders or something. So after the race was over, I didn't go to my pits. I pulled into Jay's pits. Meanwhile, Bob's down at my pits looking at me, looking for me. He come back down and he said, well, what are you doing here? I said, I figured you want to bitch at me. I'd be here where I'm handy. You wouldn't have to look for me all night long. Anyway, we ended up being real good friends. Sure is good to see all you people here, especially Jay and some of these guys I raced with for a long time. They quit. I'm still going. And here comes the hero of the whole place right here. The main man right there, Joe Shane. He's the man that made all of this possible. Oh, Joe.
I want you to get that hammer over there, yes.
Joe's standing up there hearing all this stuff about the jokes that you're telling, and he saw this beautiful shovel here, and he wants the chance to win it. He thinks he needs it around here.
Oh, you didn't give his prizes away?
Why, right there it is, Joe.
Oh, I've had that for 30 years, 40 years. No, but I want to tell you that we've had a lot of fun in our days. Red Hansen drove for me. You did help me, Red.
In the Mexican road race.
Well, we want to get before we get to Mexico.
We went to Phoenix and you had your...
Oh yeah, that's right. We went to Phoenix and you was leading the race and the rear end went out on you.
Yeah. But
okay, so we went to Mexico.
Went to the
first
Mexican.
it was in Texas.
Well, I'll try to help him here along. We were in Phoenix and he had his big car out there. And he told me, he says, hey, if you make the show here, they only run 18 at that time to start with. And he says, you make the show, and he says, we'll go to the Mexican road race. And I says, well, how the hell you think I can go to the Mexican road race, Joe? I'm broke. I said, I don't know how the hell you think I can go to the Mexican road race. I'm broke. And he says, you qualify that dude. And he says, we'll go. He says, I've got the money. And I says, we're going to get in her.
Well, anyhow, we get there, and we stayed at Chihuahua, waiting for the next day the road race comes through. Well, that night, we were playing poker, drinking beer, Wayne Webb, Penny Martin, and who else?
Patterson,
my attorney. He's always behind me, waiting to catch me. And I don't know who else. You and who? Well, anyhow, we were playing poker and drinking beer just like normal people, you know, like you're doing now, if you're drinking beer or if you're not. But anyhow, so we had too much beer in us, and so I suggested, let's get 2 cases of beer to take out to the road races. Who in the hell wants any beer after you got your stomach full? Hey, so I said, all right, you're going to be sorry. So we goes out the next morning, waited for the cars to come through, and the Mexican had a party just like you're having a party here. They brought their picnic basket with them, you know. I went to a Mexican there. First, I said, now, don't you see? You should have brought some water or some beer here. He was hot. It was really hot, no shade. I have got one tree up there, but that ain't much, but it's shade. But anyhow, I went to a Mexican and I said, can I buy a bottle of beer off you? Now, me no got. That's the very kind of words he said, me no got. Okay, I went to the next one. Me no got, me sell, me no give, me sell, me give, me no sell. That's it.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. Now, can you understand me now? You want me to explain it again? Okay. So, I insist on them taking $1. They wouldn't take the $1. I said, you take the $1. There must have been a law against them selling beer without license, I guess. I don't, because they were scared. They were scared, no kidding. So I had the bottle of beer and went over to the crew and I held it up there. It was a white Miller bottle. I said, Miller should give me some money for this. And the ice was trickling down the bottle. See, oh, it looked so nice. I wanted to drink the whole bottle. I wanted to drink the whole bottle then. Okay, so I wanted to show them that I got a bottle for it. The cars should be sorry that they didn't get any. And they grabbed for it and it went on the ground. And I picked it up. Half of it went out. Half of it. But I broke it already.
No, you're all right. You're all older. You go ahead, Carl. Why don't you sit down? You're about to punchline then. Go ahead and tell what happened.
Well, now I'm all confused now. I don't know where the hell I'm at.
The beer went on the ground. And,
Well, anyhow,
and you grabbed the
I picked
bottle.
it up.
Right.
And I said, now if you want your half, there it is on the ground. I drank my half.
He said, lick it off the ground, you dummies. He said,
Saying what?
lick it off.
Shouldn't say them words.
Lick it off the ground, you dummies.
Dummies, more like it.
Let's get him back there.
Wasn't here, but he just walked in. And he's not going to get off the hook any more than the rest of the guys. Gene Hanna, are you there?
Here, Gene. Here he comes.
Some people will do anything to win. But for some guys, winning isn't enough. They have to show off. Well, it's been going on for 40 years, but we can give you a perfect example of what we mean.
Hi, Joe.
There was this guy who had to lap almost the entire field. But did he ease up so the rest of the field wouldn't look so bad? No. Then after they're eating his dust, he just happens to develop a valve cover leak and smoke pours back in his face to blind him. But does he slow down or give up the lead? No. Then after he gets the white flag, he just happens to lose his right rear wheel. But did he slow down or give up the lead? No. This guy conveniently wins by a nose. Gene Hanner, isn't it time that you admitted that your so-called thrilling performance was actually an old-fashioned case of grandstanding?
You don't remember when you left Buster Wheel?
Yeah, I remember.
You want to say a few words there, Bonnie? Tell them why you're late, Gene.
Well, the reason I'm late, I didn't want to get too indulged in some of those beer Joes. I want to last to see the race. Thank you.
We've got time for one more story. Bill Griffith, why don't you come up here and tell a story?
I don't race much. They make me nervous. Still riding? Well, it's legal.
Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, but I'm a friend of Joe. Tell a little story that everybody relates to how Joe used to try to get in our pockets. As you know that, Joe. Now, you sometimes try to...
You have something in your pocket?
Sometimes you try to take somebody.
Trying to get in there.
All right. Well, anyhow, way back in the 50s and the late 40s, when
this older generation, as they told us in the letter that they sent me, they said there'll be some of the older generation there that you'll relate to. So, older generation, here we are. But anyhow, back then we had a little deal going that they took $25 out of the pot every night, and if you started on the back row of the feature with fast qualifying time, and you won the feature, you would get this $25. And the $25 accumulated for weeks and weeks and weeks. And finally, after about 12 weeks, I was lucky enough to start on the back and win the feature. Well, anyhow, Joe started crying. He said, "Would you take 50 bucks?" And I said, "No, I won't take 50 bucks, Joe." He said, "Well, we've got to work out something." About that time, my brother jumped out of his car and run up on the stand and grabbed the microphone, and he said, "Joe Shaheen is now going to get up and present my brother Bill with a check for $300 for winning the feature from starting on the back." And Joe was forced to pay the money. One other time, as they say, we were having problems with Joe regarding the money, and we were arguing with Joe that he was stealing the money and wasn't giving us all the first. And he told me, he said, "Bill," he said, "it hurts me right here." And I said, "Joe, is that where you keep your billfold?" So it was all right, wasn't it, Joe? But we had worlds of fun racing at Shaheen Speedway, and I can never tell you how much fun we had, and there was less money and more fun and more companionship, and we really all enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
We've got one more quick story, and then you get to vote.
Hi, Joe. Well, I think everybody should recognize me. I'm Don Pittman. I announced here at Springfield. That's what I said, boo. Hi, Bobby. We used to race 7 nights a week, Sunday afternoons. We was real busy. This gentleman sitting here behind me, he might fess up to it now, but he wouldn't back then. Right here at this track, everything was going so smooth. Nobody hit a fence. Nobody rolled. Joe says, "Where's my cat?" The caterpillar. Your road patrol. You know, your little with a bucket. Remember? You remember? I'm refreshing you. He got on it, come up here in number 1 corner and made a couple of cuts up there. He said, "I had to take that ridge out." There wasn't any ridge in there, but there was when you got done, Joe, and we had a hell of a night. You remember that? I do. That track was just like glass. No, I'm not exaggerating, Joe. You put on a hell of a show that night. Well, I know you helped that track, but the people was happy. They went home happy. They was laughing. They seen a couple of cars track you put on. You made the show. You better believe it.
The same thing next time.
That's right. He'll do the same thing when it's needed. But that was one thing that stuck out in my mind about Joe. And I traveled many a mile down the roadway. And another funny thing that happened over here at Springfield a few years back, he's not with us anymore, Joe Fofi. He won his first checkered flag here at Springfield. He got the checkered flag, and we always turned around and went the opposite way. He got the checkered flag, went past the judge's stand and dumped. Had his arm right out the window holding on to the flag. He was upside down. Remember that, Joe? A couple of things stick in my mind.
Go ahead, say some more.
No, I just wanted to mention a couple of facts. It's been an awful good 41 years in racing for me, and I've had a lot of friends come and go, and I'm happy to see everybody here, and maybe we can do it again a couple of years before we get any older. And Joe, you look younger to me every year. You look younger every year.
Joe didn't believe me. Fred, always told people to come in. Okay, it's your turn to vote now on who told the best story. They win the shovel. Was it Chuck-a-Monty? Nobody's clapping for Chuck-a-Monty? I was going to have to put this down and clap for him. Tiger Black. Frank Childress. Butch Wilkerson. Jungle Jim Davison. Yeah, but you guys are easy to please. Bill Griffith. Don Pittman. And Joe Shaheen.
Oh, I think Joe won this hands down. And many a time I'd like to see him have this someplace.
I've used it many a time. I've used the shovel many a time. Would you hand me the shovel?
Bill Hill, where are you? Bill Hill? Are you ready? Okay. Two real quick announcements. One, Dave Jordan from Making Movie Makers is videotaping this. Davis is a professional, and I've got some of his tapes at home, and they're wonderful. This will be available in beta or VHS for $25 if you pay for it today, and you can't have it shipped to you COD. The girls at the back table are taking orders for it, and you really ought to get him because he does a really good job. He's also going to tape the races tonight and our intermission program, so you should get a tape. Also, all the people who are supposed to meet for a 4 o'clock meeting, go there now. We're going to go ahead and start a few minutes early. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to Bill Hill because he has a couple of presentations to make.
Okay. Well, first, let me say that a couple of years ago, I got tired of banging around the country, changing residence about every year, and I decided to get a little stability in my life, so I went to work for K&K Insurance. Now, I don't know whether that's really being stable or not, but that's why part of the reason I'm here today is to make a presentation from K&K to Joe. But first, I didn't want to get involved in the storytelling, but I can tell you a quick story. When I first showed up here, I guess for the first time in 1972, I just moved from Denver, and I was working for USAC as the assistant news director under Jeff Cadu. And I was over here with a USAC midget show, and Joe and two USAC midget owners whose kids were driving cars at the time, Dick Brocious from southern Indiana out of Chicago, and George McBeat from up in Wisconsin, were all sitting just as you come out of the pits with a watermelon. And I walked by them and said hello to the three of them, and they were very cordial. I came back about an hour later, and they had their eyes at half-mast, and I thought they'd been drinking pretty heavy. And I came back another hour or so later, and the three of them were just hammered. I couldn't believe it. And I leaned over and checked the watermelon, and it's, I guess here in Illinois, they grow vodka-flavored watermelons. Do you remember that, Joe?
I'm sure you tell the truth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. There was...
But I didn't spike it. I didn't spike it. The watermelon man spiked it.
Oh, was that who it was?
Oh, don't accuse me of doing something that I don't do. Or now I'll admit it anytime I do anything wrong.
Well, that was probably George McBeat.
I didn't quite Bob. Bob, what's Bob's last name? Huh? Bob. Griffin, Bob Griffin, yeah. He was telling the truth about everything. So that's the reason I didn't question him. But go ahead with yours, come in.
Well, anyway, that was I've had a lot of fun here since, from that first story, and from that first time, Joe. And, okay, you know, this says an appreciation for 20 years of loyal patronage. And in recognition of contribution, about 25. Well, no, this is from K&K.
40. I started 40 years ago with the midgets.
Oh, you did 40 years ago?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm the only man that kept the midgets to going, and I sat up there in the stand and paid $300 for my seat. When that's about you understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand you, Joe.
Okay. All right. So one night I benefited out of it. It rained that night when I had the midget show. the garage there used to be my stables for my race cars. Hey, Flex Easton suggested to have a crack den. This is the truth now, I'm not exaggerating. Flex Easton, they were putting the dice in my hands. Putting them in there, they thought I didn't know how to use them. See, and I was throwing them out there, 11, 7, 11, and 7. I picked up $1,300. That's more money than I would have got from the racetrack. So I had all of the race drivers, all the kids, over to Benny Paris over here and buy a steak. Kid Hanson from Indiana had a little cigar in his mouth, all these shoes. He goes over and gets 2 steaks on me. But that was all right. I didn't mind because I had $1,300. So I benefited. But I'll tell you one thing. I've never turned the midgets down in the depression. Since we couldn't have people here, the midgets are still going on. You know why? Because I had 2 or 3 of them.
That's true. True. I got a lot of old pictures of you with those cars.
I did have a big car in the Speedway in 1955. Myron Ford drove for me. Tony Bettenhouse drove for me. Neil Carter drove for me. Any second out there, Tony Bettenhouse, I put pictures up there and write-ups. And Sam Hanks finished third and declined. And Greg Season drove for me. Chuck Wines drove for me. Harry Miles, he was supposed to be here. He lives in California. Red Hamilton drove. I mentioned mechanic, he didn't know his ass from the holding ground. I got to sit down. Pardon that language, they just come to me once in a while. He's a good boy, very good boy. He's doing what I'm telling him to do just the opposite. I'm telling him the opposite, he does the right thing. Come on up here, I'd like to finally have a fight. I'm trying to save a man.
Well, while Webb is coming up here, Joe, I'll leave you this plaque. Webb, let me make one more presentation. Here's a hat from K&K, and it's just for all the years that you've been with us. You know, the Agajanian family and Bill Lipke are the only other 2. Yeah, that's the one thing I was going to tell you. We're not going to reduce your price. We're going to give you a hat and a plaque. And they asked me while I was up here to give you this. This is from the Illinois State Fair. And you know, Bill O'Denny and everybody at the present time is down at DuPont.
Everybody.
Yes.
Don't show it to me, show it to me.
It says, dedicated to motorsports for over 40 years at the Springfield Speedway with deep appreciation and esteem from the racing fraternity. August 23rd, 1987. Here, Joe, hold it up in front of you here. And that's Bill O'Denny and the rest of them baked off. Webb, I'm going to just turn this over to you and let you and Joe take it from there. Thank you. Here, I'll let him start this out.
No, you started that. Well, I can start it out. I'm trying to save a man's life. He said, all drunk. This is Granite City. He's all drunk, shook up, he's got a car on the racetrack. He's motioning for his driver to get going. He's running on the tail end. So after the race was over with, he come over to me. I thought he was going to ask me what I was trying to tell him. But without a warning or nothing, he almost hit me in the mouth. Tell him what I did.
It wasn't me that hit him. It was another driver. And Joe immediately decked him with his left.
What you want to charge me for? He's got nerve enough to come over and want to charge me $50? Ain't that the hell of a note? I'm trying to protect myself. Without a warning, he hit me in the stomach. I let him have it. Anything else you want? Where's Joyce?
I will tell you a little story that happened to me one time here.
Senator here.
I was telling some of the other fellows here, and
One time I was sitting in the infield, and we were getting ready to go out on hot lap, and I was down the backstretch just on the infield, sitting in my car, and my hands were on the side of the car, just resting there till it was time for us to go out, and they had a few cars out there hot lap, and one of them spun, and he spun down the infield, and I didn't even see him coming. He hit the side of the car and mashed my fingers on my left hand. Well, my hand was mashed up a little bit, and I thought I needed to look at, so Joe says, Fred Hamilton, you take this boy to the hospital and get him patched up. I don't want to send the ambulance, so we can keep the show going on there. So Joe gave me his new Cadillac, get Red Hamilton his new Cadillac, and me and my wife and Red headed for the hospital. We turned out here in front of the Speedway, and we went down a block, turn right, and then back left. We went down about 6 blocks, and Red was running about 65, 70 miles an hour. And down there, if anybody lives here, they'll know what I'm talking about. There's 2 sets of railroad tracks go right through the center of town. When we got there, and Red started to slow down to make the left-hand turn, and the motor died on the car. And when the motor died, we didn't have any brakes. Red couldn't turn the thing, so we jumped through both sets of them railroad tracks, and on the other side there was a bank about this high, and he plowed through that bank, and at that time there was a service station there. We run through that service station, hit a pump, hit a station wagon in the station, knocked it sideways, went right straight across the street and T-boned the telephone pole, right dead in the middle. It just destroyed Joe's car. I wasn't hurt, my wife wasn't hurt, but Red got outside the car and he was jumping about this high in the ground. He said, Joe's going to kill me, Joe's going to kill me. And he fainted, and they hauled him off in the ambulance.
Wait a minute. Let's go to this reunion. One more race driver's here, late. The only place the race drivers are fast are on the track. Let me tell you a story. More than one race driver has gone to Joe Shaheen for advice, and Joe has been known to give good advice sometimes. Bring him on up. She rewrote it, the gear. Art Arbachon, you around here? Come on up. There you come. Put them up. These are 411 gears. I can't lift them up high enough, so Joe's going to do it. They weigh slightly less than an engine, but take our word for it, these are real 411 gears. Now, for those who may be familiar with the gear ratios, we'll point out the fact that no one has run a 411 gear in 35 years. Why? Because by the time you got your engine wound up enough to use the horsepower, you would be at the intersection of Clear Lake and 18th, and that's not part of the racetrack. It takes so long to realize your engine torque with these gears, you could do a crossword puzzle going down the straights. Don't take our word for it. Here's the last man to ever run a 411 at Springfield Speedway, Mr. Art Arbachon.
That's true, everything he said there. Old Joe used to come down to St. Louis, Missouri. He always got there early. Evelyn always doing the driving. We had been here a little earlier today. We took off from St. Louis, and I said, I'm going to take a little snooze so I'd be fresh when I get up there to Springfield. And my chauffeur, Green, was in the back there. I said, well, you want to take it on in there and get the 55 and hang it on in and take it right on up to Springfield. Well, we just went by, we got on up there, and I said, hey, we're going to Indianapolis. And we was in Fort Wayne there almost, and we turned around and had a 100-mile shot to the other side to get up there to see you, Joe. But we had her in the right car coming up there with that new speed limit. So it was about normally it was an hour and a half ride to coming up here from on the old 66 bypass. Today it took about 3.5, almost 4. So it was really a pleasure to be here today. Had a good time. Joe, there's one other thing I always remember y'all guys there. I've talked to everybody in St. Louis there. Used to race back there at the Wall Stadium days, and a lot of some of them are gone. Rick Smith, he's gone. And the bunch of them that was all saying was going up her to home rig and go up there and see if she still had them 64 heads for steps in the lounge. And I was go up there and take a look after a while and see if you still got them. They still there, Joe? Good. Yeah, I remember when you put them there and cut them pistons and half-made ashtrays out of them. All good times. So that room you got up there with all that good stuff, and I know you got the old 39 and 60 and everything all up there yet, haven't you? Yeah, that's good. Well, listen, it's really a pleasure to be up here with you, Joe, and I want to take this mic up, but it was really marvelous that got the note from you that you was having a coming home week, and I guess everybody up here that can remember Wall Stadium days, and we can surely remember it. But the greatest moment was that nobody ever left there back in those, had them Ford chassis days, everybody come there and tore down. I didn't know anybody who didn't went out there, but you didn't give them $20, $25 to get on home, right, Joe? Yeah, so I'll always remember that. Good hand for Joe Shaheen. Okay, Joe, you sure enough did it. Yeah, I don't know if she had it all in there what I told her, but you told me one night, you says, Art, you wind it too tight. You gotta get that St. Louis gear out of there and get something in there a little higher. He says, you got the engine, you got plenty of horsepower, but you just you're over-revving her. Thank you, Jim. I'll put this on.
Tell them that they tore you down in Marion.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had the right gear in that night. Joe says, Dad, they're going to tear you down. And I said, well, okay, Joe, which way are they going for? Stroke or gears? And he said, well, we're going to jack one side of them, gun the motor. And man, look out, everybody cleared away. so that time we had her locked up, Joe.
and the promoter there had a full house. Here I'm spending money having these kids put on a good show, right?
Right,
okay.
Joe.
And they tear him down, and we had about $10 we could give him. There's no money in the gate. No money in the gate.
They took her down anyway, didn't they?
And I started raising hell. And the guy said, the promoters pulled the pistols out on me.
That's right, Joe said, hey, now listen, let's keep this thing all fair. All they want to do is look in the motor, that's all. But anyway, I still got that trophy for that. That's okay.
And they tore him down, didn't have nothing in there but grit.
That's all. That's all. Put it together. Put it together in a dusty lot. It made the real lock up. It was unfortunate it happened.
So Albert, don't you do anything like this.
Thank you. Okay, Joe. Put that gear up there. All right, Joe. Is that it, Joe? Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, Joe.
attention, please. We have a motorcycle parked outside the fence. Illinois license plate 288607. You must move that motorcycle, please. Illinois 288607. Please move that motorcycle.
Jeannie Overrider, call. Rick Steerage of Don Vernon on the clock. That car's on by. And sponsored by McKay Racing Engines. Faster than Ross here. That is quick time so far. 13:93. Second lap. 13:20. Joe Ross Senior of Mechanicsburg. Car is owned by John Clausen and sponsored by Bill Westler. Car 6 into that big Jim 13-2-1-4, 13-2-1-4. Fast time for Joe Ross. 13-2-1-4. Minneapolis, they come out by Herschel J.D. Army. Warehouse. Jim Linka on the clock. 13-1-9-2, second quick time. Second lap better, 13-1-4. And Worcestershire, Midwest. Time for Nick Taylor. 13-2-58, the second lap. 13-3-9, first lap time for Carter. Now one of the real veterans here at Springfield Speedway. 13-1-3-0, the first lap. 13-1-3-0, and Al Thomas spinning in the second turn. Now will be the 9 and a Randy Bridge of Springfield.
induct 8 new members. The first inductee was one of the most outstanding coupe and stock car racers the track has known. Between 1949 and 1957, this man won many features on the Illinois-Missouri Association track circuit, and he was champion at Springfield in 1957. By bringing him into the hall, we will have our first set of brothers, accompanied by his 94-year-old father, Ed, who was the owner of several 1950 race cars. We are proud to induct Bill Griffin. The next inductee supported this track from 1949 to 1974. Through coupes, stocks, sprints, even though he drove from Paris, Illinois to do so, the Flying Eyeball was famous for starting races at the rear and coming for the entire pack to win countless features. The 1966 modified champion at Springfield, Gene Henson. It's not only drivers who made this track great. The drivers will be the first to tell you how important the mechanics and car owners have been. There have been many innovative mechanics, especially in the 50s, a time when multiple carburetors, airplane engines, even reverse torque engines. But among the innovators was the man who actually came up with the ideas first, even if he was not a wealthy man. It is impossible to measure the amount of respect he received from his peers and how much he changed the face of racing at Springfield. He is now in his 90s and resides in a nursing home in Pena, but his awards are being accepted by his 2 sons, David and Mickey. Tonight, we add the first mechanic and car owner to the Hall of Fame, the incomparable Herman Kluge. One of the Springfield's histories has been as constant in winning as so many different classes of cars as our next inductee. He was a winner of his first season in 1950 to his entire retirement to 1977. His accomplishments on the track were accomplished by his classy, white demeanor off the track, prompting a truly deserved nickname. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present you with Gentleman Jim Mohawk. Jim Mohawk started another champion generation, as did our next inductee. But long before his son joined the ranks of champions, the father raced midgets, modified, sprints from 1942 until 1971, and started several Indianapolis 500-mile races, beginning with a race in 1955. Few drivers from Springfield have gone so far, both literally and figuratively. He deserves our respect. I'll tell you, he gets mine. One of the truly great drivers, Chuck Ryan. Champions deserve induction someday into this hall, but few won more races over their careers than the 1965 champions. Few were more popular with their peers than the 65 champ. Few are more sorely missed than this man who died too soon. Everyone who ever saw him remembers his determination by working to the front of the pack and winning from the back. His widow Jackie is here tonight to accept a plaque in his memory, and we ask that you finally recall an outstanding driver, Johnny Myers. Another who should be here tonight, but it's rather with Johnny Myers instead,
probably sitting in a closet someplace, pointing down, saying something like, well, would you look at that? Who'd ever thought that tonight they would be remembering me? But the truth is, we remember him every race night. He was always a fixture at the track, even though he never drove a race car, never owned one, never turned a wrench. All he did was keep points, statistics, time, score, supervised the stewards, mediated through disputes, and generally kept everyone going. We took him for granted too much when he was here, but tonight, to elevate him to the status at this track, to his rightful place among the stars, his widow Sarah will accept a plaque on behalf of our dear old friend, Jerry Stevens.
Where's he at?
The next inductee is one of the most popular drivers in Springfield history. In fact, Bubby Jones has identified him as the greatest racing hero. For nearly 20 years, this man drove coupes, stock cars, and modifieds before retiring to become a track promoter. The number 444 brought cheers every time he came to the racetrack, as well as filling the grandstand. Please show your appreciation for the remarkable Red Spalding. And now that we've talked about Jerry and Johnny, they are not the only two that are missing tonight. There are more than we can possibly acknowledge. But among the drivers, car owners, mechanics, wives, and fans, and friends, we know there must be someone you remember who has passed on to a place of peace. We ask that you please stand and observe a moment of silence to remember those special people. Thank you, and if you will please remain standing, we will honor our great country.
As the man without a country was dying, he said, "For your country, for that flag, never dream a dream but of serving her. Never look to another flag, never let a night pass but pray to God to bless that flag." Remember, behind officers, government, and people, there is the country herself, and that you belong to her. Stand by her as you will stand behind your own mother. For the track. Tom Sheffield, winner.
You guys going for 100?
Bryant. And fourth to 10, Ron Sandridge. Jay Wilson of Argento, winner of the third sprint, sponsored by TK Rawson Garage. We need all the participants in the intermission program to report to the pit gate. With all participants in the intermission program, please report to the pit gate. We need a tow truck immediately to the
and racing. In the next few minutes, we will take you on a unique trip. The trip is only 1/4 of a mile in length, but 40 years in time. Perhaps to the young, being back home may not mean so much tonight, but for those of us who have lived at this track, love what we did all these many years ago, and tonight is the opportunity to show you through the 40 years we have shared so much in common. The love of racing doesn't dim with time. The representative talent and accomplishments should be not dim either. So let us now bring you back to the journey through the 40 years of laughter, tears, triumph, and failure. We began appropriately enough, of course, with 1987. You see before you on the track accumulated of almost 200 years of active racing experience at Springfield Speedway. In the first convertible, a man who began racing here in 1964, 23 years ago, Joe Ross. 20 years ago, Jim Harder. 19 years ago, Dickie Taylor. 18 years ago, Rick Standridge. 17 years, Randy Standridge. In the next car, with 16 years, here is Roger Brown. Also with 16 years, Al Thomas. With 15 years, Jim Lakey. And the final for 14 years is Ed Bauman and Ron Standridge. Jimmy Carter was president. His brother Billy was capturing the headlines. There is no war, but unrest in Iran has become Washington's worry. In Springfield, women wore platform shoes and bell-bottom pants. Young people cruised through McDonald's on MacArthur, but gasoline shortages meant Japanese cars are breaking into the market. And at Springfield Speedway that summer, you saw a lot of great driving talent, including these 5 drivers. The only 5-time champion in all Springfield Speedway's history, Herschel Odell. A successful driver who would become the 1979 Sprint Car champion, Chet the Jet Johnson. One of our most successful drivers with both Sprint and late model cars, who is now a popular late model owner, Herschel Jenkins. One of the most consistently successful drivers in this track's history through coupes, modified Sprints and late models, gentleman Jim Bohan. And one of the most colorful and exciting drivers at this or any other track, the one-arm bandit Chuck Amati. television as frequently as press conferences by Lyndon Johnson. In Springfield, miniskirts, I remember them, and tight pants, as we drive to Top's Big Boy in our Pontiac GTO Springfield Speedway this summer. It was. A highly successful racer who become the 1966 modified champion, the Flying Eyeball, Gene Henson. Here's one of the toughest, the most respected sprint car driver in Springfield's history, Frank Childers. One of the most consistently successful racers from both the coupe and modified days, driver of the number 444 West Spalding. One of the most colorful drivers of the day from coupes and stock car racing, who was also the most successful, Fibber McGee. 31 years and 500 feature wins, Francis Wildman Kelly. Here we are. It's 1957. We liked Ike, even if there was a Cold War with Russia. The girls looked great in saddle shoes and poodle skirts, especially in our classy 57 Chevy, as we head for Kuchertown's ice cream parlor or roller skating at the Moonlight Garden. At Springfield Speedway, it was. With their names in racing headlines with countless wins, Pete Squire. One of the most popular competitors who raced for 30 seasons at Springfield, Dick Stanbridge. And the gentleman who won 3 straight season championships from 1954 through 1956, amassing 39 feature wins in one season on the circuit. Dynamite Jim McKay. Favorites from 1957.
Well, here we are. We're back in 1947. World War II is over, but the police action in Korea looms on the horizon to devil President Harry S. Truman. The ladies are wearing serge dresses and shoes called mules as they hop into their Hudson Horns or Henry J's to go over to the icy root beer stand and drive through the lot. And at the brand new Springfield Speedway, they didn't know at our Springfield Speedway, but some runner journey was about to begin for these talented drivers. All these gentlemen drove midgets for Joe Shaheen. Now retired, but still one of the most popular men in midget racing circles, Steve Arms.
one of Joe's most successful drivers, all the way from California, especially for tonight's event, Red Hamilton. The USAC point leader and champion of Springfield Speedway in 1953, and the National Midget Champion winner in Chicago while driving for Joe Shaheen in 1948, Russ Fox. Voted the most popular driver at Springfield Speedway in 1948, Chuck Marshall. Family said wine. And the 1959 USAC Midget Champion who raced at the Indianapolis 500 10 times, Gene Hartley. And then said Chuck Wine. Some favorites from 1947. Go on into it. Okay. Defying the constraints of time, you see before you thousands of feature wins, countless of championships from 1947 to 1987. Not everyone who raced here enjoyed that kind of success. But anyone who wanted could come away from this track with two things: a sense of belonging to a special kind of family, and more fun than anyone outside of racing can understand. If we are gathered here tonight to pay tribute to this track's history, then we cannot overlook those things that we all share. There has always been family here, but there is one family who have been racing here from the first day without interruption until today. In fact, their father, Rube, accompanied Joe Shaheen the day he bought the land for the track. We are pleased to present Chuck, his wife Lori, and his son Tony, representing all families who've raced at Springfield, the Wyant family.
People will not let you down. They will love and take care of you in good times and bad. My husband, Rex, my children and I, we're fortunate to belong to this family. We all love the friendship we share with Joe and all our friends in the racing circuit. Rex received many awards and trophies, but the biggest reward of all was the love, care, and friendship from all of you. When Rex was badly injured, we needed our fans and our racing family more than ever, and he didn't forget us. As the saying goes, racing takes care of its own. I really can't ride anymore, but the tears of wonderful memories in my heart. I'm so sorry I can't be with my racing family for this wonderful occasion. But I love you all, and God bless you. Remember, being a family of many names is more important than all the victories in the world. It is the greatest victory of all. Love, Helen.
Ready? We talked about families, but we also talked about fun. Before insurance companies got serious about safety, and before the ASPCA found out what was going on out here, there was a lot of monkey business, and that is literally. Well, we would love to recreate some of the 50 craziness, but nobody racing today would volunteer to have their cars run in a figure eight or chain rear bumpers together to try to run a race. And we found out that the ostriches spit, so we can't have any of those tonight. So we figured that since we didn't have semis much anymore, and our guests used to see a lot of semis. We should have one tonight. A semi-tractor trailer tire race, that is.
The man who made all this possible, ladies and gentlemen, we give you Mr. Joe Shaheen.
And ladies and gentlemen, how about a hand for Mary Hill, who done all the beautiful singing tonight? There is only one place in the world where dreams come true. God bless you all for coming home. God bless the USA.
Thank you, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the program. We'll see you again in another 40 years. It will take us a couple of minutes to get the track cleared, and then we will have our...
Tractor, the 24, Dick Taylor. 07, Jim Lincoln. 302, Joe Ross Sr. 54, Jim Harder, and the 14, Brian Eater. 4, Bobby Clark, and the 51, Brent Booth. 55, Bob Bennett, and PJ1, Paul Ray. 42, Dennis English, and the 47, Rich Hay. 98, Pat Walsh, and the 6, Tony Doug and Willie sleigh. Jr., our feature winner. Tony Wyatt will take the